Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our most thrilling new videos.
The evening wind gently brushed the savannah, lifting golden dust into the air. Beneath a vast baobab, an old man with a white beard stirred a glowing fire. Around him, 30 children sat in a circle, their faces lit by the dance of the flames. Silence ruled, broken only by the crackling wood. The old man looked up at the stars, sighed, and spoke in a deep, slow voice. "My children, it is time you learned what our past truly was. Before the roads drawn by foreign hands, before the flags from distant lands, Africa walked free, proud and sovereign. Tonight, let the fire show you what the books forgot."
Before the arrival of foreign ships, Africa was a vast continent of mighty kingdoms and united peoples. From Timbuktu to Congo, from Djenné to Oyo, the markets pulsed with voices and colors. The griots sang of heroes, kings judged beneath sacred trees, and women wove the memory of the ancestors. The old man closed his eyes for a moment. "We were not savages to be civilized," he said softly. "We were nations to be respected." Then one day, white sails appeared on the horizon. They moved like clouds, slow but certain, driven by wind and ambition. The foreigners stepped onto our shores, bringing mirrors and guns, crosses and promises. The old man stared into the fire. "Thus the shadow entered our light," he whispered. Friendship hid greed, and outstretched hands already carried chains. "At first they traded salt for gold, cloth for spices. But soon they wanted more, our arms, our lives, our children. Some kings hesitated, but others yielded to the lure of power and weapons. Entire villages burned, families were torn apart." The old man closed his eyes. "Thus began the trade," he said in a broken voice. "The trade where man became merchandise." But Africa did not bow without a fight. Entire peoples rose up, the Zulus, the Ashanti, the Dahomey, the Tukulur, and many more. War drums thundered across the plains, and songs of hope rose to the sky. "Never forget," said the old man, "that our ancestors fought. Their courage is carved into the earth, even if their victories were erased by the ink of the conquerors."
The rivers that once nourished the people became routes of captivity. The Niger, the Congo, the Senegal, on their waters slid canoes filled with bound souls. The songs once of praise turned into cries for help. The old man watched the flames dance. "Water remembers," he said. "Every wave carries the name of someone lost." Empty villages, abandoned fields, silent drums. Sadness spread its cloak everywhere. Mothers wept for sons taken away. Elders whispered to the spirits of their ancestors. And that night, the rain fell endlessly. "It was the continent itself that cried," said the old man. "Its tears watered the earth so memory would never die." As the threat spread, some kings sought alliances with the foreigners. They hoped to find peace, but found only ruin. Borders were redrawn, peoples divided, languages set against one another. The old man sighed. "That's how they learned to conquer us, not by the sword, but by division." Then they came with crosses and books. They spoke of love and salvation, yet their prayers paved the way for armies. Ancient temples were destroyed, names changed, beliefs forbidden. "It is not faith I condemn," said the old man, "but those who used it to bind souls in chains."
Then came the time of guns and cannons. Villages were burned, kings exiled, peoples subdued by force. Cries echoed through the forests and war drums fell silent. The old man nodded slowly. They called it pacification, but it was a war against dignity.
The foreigners placed markers on our lands, drawing lines no one had ever known. The fields of our ancestors became the property of distant empires. Farmers were forced to cultivate for others on lands they no longer owned. The old man threw a handful of sand into the fire. This sand, he said, is the dust of our stolen lands.
Beneath the blazing sun, men, women, and children worked without rest. Roads, rails, and pots were built by their hands, yet their names appeared on no stone. Every drop of sweat was a silent cry. They said it was for progress, whispered the old man. But progress never tasted as salty as our tears. They opened schools, but not to enlighten, to erase. Children learned to read, but in a language that was not their own. They were taught to admire other gods, other heroes, other colors. That is where the colonization of minds began, said the old man. For the most obedient slave is the one who forgets he was once free. They opened schools, but not to enlighten, to erase. Children learned to read, but in a language that was not their own. They were taught to admire other gods, other heroes, other colors. That is where the colonization of minds began, said the old man. For the most obedient slave is the one who forgets he was once free.
Yet some still spoke. Poets, griots, and brave women passed on memory in secret, at night, around fires. They sang forbidden names, told of ancient glories, and kept the flame alive. Colonization tried to silence our voice, said the old man. But the voice of a people, once burning, never dies. In the villages, despite fear, whispers of hope were born. The elders said, "The day will come when Africa shall rise again." Young people learned in secret, leaders emerged, dreams took shape. The old man smiled at last. Thus was born the promise of freedom, fragile as an ember, yet eternal as fire.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our most thrilling new videos.